3, 2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7. Well, good morning to you. It's Tuesday, the 9th of June 2020, and it's Donald Duck Day. Happy birthday to Michael J. Fox, Johnny Depp, and Natalie Portman.
7.
After the weekend's protests, and in particular the removal of the statue of Edward Colston in Bristol, the government has been sternly warning that protesting in mass gatherings to show support for Black Lives Matter are high risk in a time of coronavirus. Boris acknowledged the anger, but threatened the full force of the law for those who engage in hooliganism.
I say, yes, of course, I hear you, I understand. But I must also say that we are in a time of national trial, when for months this whole country has come together to fight a deadly plague. After such sacrifice, we can't now let it get out of control.
The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, thinks the government response is tone deaf.
I think our Home Secretary and our Prime Minister should try and walk in the shoes of a black person in Bristol who on a daily basis sees somebody commemorated, celebrated, who was a slaver, who was responsible for their ancestors being enslaved, responsible for bringing to this country 84,000 slaves and around the world and thrown overboard 20,000 innocent black women and children. And I find the lack of empathy from our Prime Minister and our Home Secretary breathtaking.
6.
Donald Trump has still failed to respond in any positive way to the mass peaceful protests over the weekend, instead lashing out at Republican Senator Mitt Romney for marching. This was Mitt on Sunday with the protesters.
Finding a way to end violence and brutality and to make sure that people understand that Black Lives Matter.
And now his Attorney General has admitted that during the first weekend of protests, Trump was rushed to the bunker, and not just for an inspection.
We were reacting to 3 days of extremely violent demonstrations right across from the White House. A lot of injuries to police officers, arson. Things were so bad that the Secret Service recommended the president go down to the bunker. We can't have that in our country.
5.
A war of words has broken out between the lawyers for Prince Andrew and US prosecutors who are investigating Jeffrey Epstein on charges of sex trafficking. Andrew's lawyers say he is cooperating, and US Attorney General Bill Barr says there's no question of Andrew being formally extradited. This, of course, is the man who doesn't sweat.
She described dancing with you and you profusely sweating, and that she went on to have bath, possibly.
There's a slight problem with the sweating because I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat, or I didn't sweat at the time, and that was yes, I didn't sweat at the time because I had suffered what I would describe as an overdose of adrenaline in the Falklands War when I was shot at.
Let's see if that's still true, shall we?
4.
As people all over the world joined the Black Lives Matter protests and spoke out over the weekend, one short, angry man was having none of it. He was particularly incensed by the defacing of a Churchill statue and posted an epic Gammon-faced rant. The internet did exactly what it does best and created this: Tommy Robinson versus Parklife.
What is going on? What's happening? This protest today? You know, Anthony Joshua, you got anything to say about this shit? Hey? You got anything to say about what they've done to Churchill's statue? Or you think he's a racist as well, do ya? What about Little Mix? You were there, weren't ya? Hey? Will you support the defacing of our Churchill statue, do ya? Every one of you f***ing celebrities, all jumping on your little virtue signalling bandwagon.
Well done, Little Mix.
3.
As the protests rumble on, relatively few sports stars have spoken out, but Serena Williams took to Instagram to share her thoughts on race and the current American environment. Her husband, Alex Ohanian, is the co-founder of Reddit, who's resigned his position and suggested that he should be replaced by a black candidate.
I just feel like, personally, it's no better time to be the color that I am. It's no better time to be black. I'm proud. I've always been proud to be who I am, to be black. And I just feel like I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't be as strong as I am. I wouldn't be able to be as amazing as I have been so far in my career. I wouldn't be me if I wasn't Black.
Americans are good at many things, protesting it turns out, and they've remembered how to spaceflight again, but dear God, don't ever let an American make you a cup of tea.
Hey guys, so I got a lot of questions after my last video, and everyone wanted to see me make hot tea or British tea, so today we are going to make tea. So fill our mug with water, put it in the microwave, set it for a minute, pour the milk in, drop your tea bag in, add the sugar, give it a little stir, and that's how you make hot tea.
Right, that's it.
Whoa! Good God, yo! 1.
Gary Barlow's been keeping us all amused during lockdown. Has anyone told him that it's pretty much over now, though? Anyway, his latest crooner session Zoom duetters were All Saints, and you really need to watch this clip today just to see Gary's facial expressions. What's he sitting on?
Take me out of this black hole. Never ever have I ever felt so sad. The way I'm feeling, yeah, you got me feeling really bad.
This has been the Smart 7. We've got an Alexa skill now. All you've got to do is enable us and then just say, Alexa, play the Smart 7. We're back tomorrow at 7. Please like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
All of television history is contained within the box of delights.
It was happening in front of us.
Incredible.
In our living rooms. It was amazing.
Guests pick their favourite television moment and tell us why they love it.
And is this the episode where Daisy's just been for the interview at the Woman's Magazine?
Flaps.
That's it, Flaps.
Yeah.
Named one of Radio Time's best podcasts of the year.
I don't understand people who don't see the joy in drawing the curtains, a mug of hot chocolate and something nice on TV. Like, what could be nicer than that?
Than having a snuggle.
Exactly.
Nostalgia in bite-sized chunks.
Box of delights
from Great Big Owl.